with breaking news.
A guilty verdict from inside of the Collin County courthouse. After just 3 hours of deliberations, Karmelo Anthony was found guilty of murder in the track meet stabbing death of Austin Metcalf. We are seeing live pictures outside of that very courtroom where a crowd has swelled following the verdict, and we're still waiting for jurors to begin deliberating a sentence. Thank you for joining us as we continue breaking news coverage on Fox 4 News at 4. I'm Eden Sheckholm. We have team coverage on the ground as well. Several Fox 4 crews getting live updates from inside of the courtroom and reactions on the ground. First, though, we want to bring in Fox 4's Sean Rabb, who has been part of our breaking news coverage all afternoon. He joins us now with what's going on at the moment in the punishment phase. Sean.
So at this very moment, the jurors are receiving the charge and will very soon begin deliberating and deciding the punishment for Karmelo Anthony. Listen, the charge says you have found the defendant guilty. It is now your duty to assess punishment. The issue of sudden passion has been raised. Sudden passion suggests this was not premeditated, this was not planned, that Karmelo Anthony didn't go to that track meet planning to exact violence and take someone's life. It was in the heat of the moment. And so because that has been raised, here's part of the charge to the jurors about sudden passion. If you determine sudden passion, you may not sentence him for more than 20 years. If not sudden passion, you can sentence him to life. Sudden passion caused by provocation by the person killed. So that's where the jury are. They're getting the charge, then they will return to that jury room and they will decide how long Karmelo Anthony will serve time in the Texas Department of Corrections for the murder of Austin Metcalf. That could happen between now and 6 o'clock. They could return with that decision before the day has ended.
And considering how quickly things have moved in this trial, we might as well, find out what they decide very soon, surely by the end of the day today. Thank you so much, Sean. Let's now head over to Fox 4's Alex Boyer, who has been live outside of the courthouse in McKinney all day. Alex, what can you tell us about the reaction out there and just how people are feeling at the moment? When we spoke to you about 2 hours ago, it looked like tensions were rising. Have things calmed down?
They have for the moment, Eden, as you mentioned, of course, like emotions, the day has ebbed and flowed with the way folks have been reacting to what they have been hearing. We've had a few people come up to us within the last hour and just kind of venting at us over what the verdict has been. But all in all, folks here have remained quite calm and peaceful. I can tell you that the crowd began to build first thing this morning outside the Collin County courthouse as attorneys for both sides were presenting closing arguments. Then the jury got the case just before 11 a.m. Excuse me. During jury deliberations, many folks were out here live streaming on social media. Others were simply sitting under trees and talking to one another, and others were chanting and praying. When word got out that there was a verdict, the crowd all but began to gather near, excuse me, the steps of the courthouse. Over a dozen law enforcement officers came out and formed a line separating the crowd from the steps of the courthouse. And from my vantage point, most people seemed to abide by the officers' orders. When the crowd learned that Karmelo Anthony had been found guilty of murder, I heard some audible gasps and moans, but many people stayed quiet. I think that they were really digesting what they learned. Then I heard a woman yell, "Let's stay together," and another woman got on a loudspeaker and started preaching. Some people have left over the past hour, but many are staying to see if the jury who convicted him will also reach a sentencing agreement today. Now, if we can come back out here live to my ground shot here, you may be able to see the law enforcement presence that you were just seeing from Sky 4 on the ground. You can see at the moment kind of a casual stance. That they were all certainly lined up and a lot more active when that sentencing, or I should say verdict, first came down. Now, as we await what the sentencing will be for Karmelo Anthony, the fate, they are kind of more at ease, but keeping an eye on the crowd here, which again has remained relatively peaceful throughout the entire time that I have been here. Back to you.
It's good to know that things have been peaceful. We've really seen people on both sides, those who feel that, who agree with this sentencing or with this verdict, who are on Austin Metcalf's side and feel that justice was served, and those who are on Karmelo Anthony's side and feel as though that this was too harsh. Our Amelia Jones at the courthouse as well. She is in the middle of the crowd there. Amelia, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What can you tell us?
Well, Eden, we have seen people gather in kind of large groups on and off all afternoon. I'm not sure if my photographer, Sam, can kind of pan in here over my right shoulder. This is kind of what I'm talking about, just larger crowds gathering, just really sharing their reactions with one another about the verdict, potentially about what they believe is happening inside the courtroom as journalists like our Fox 4 Lori Brown is sharing updates, and then the journalists on the ground are sharing updates. You might see a lot of cell phones up in the air. We know that social media, this case has really taken on a life of its own online. And so a lot of people are live streaming right now. They were live streaming before that verdict was issued, and they've kind of been live streaming ever since. Now, there are a couple of Collin County Sheriff pickup trucks and squad cars here. I have not seen any clashes with law enforcement. As you heard my colleague Alex Boyer say, the supporters and people who have gathered here have really respected law enforcement. Law enforcement has not had to kind of come towards the crowd, say anything. We haven't really even seen them interact much, but they do have a presence here, clearly. And they have created this barrier between the sidewalk here and the parking lot and the front of the Collin County Courthouse. I have been talking to people, and they shared their reaction with me after that verdict was issued. And one man told me that there is no winning on either side of this. Take a listen.
I just tell people this, man, is until you've been in this situation, you don't know how anybody's feeling. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, this is a no-win situation on either side. You know, you have a child that is not going to be here anymore. God bless his family. And to the family who's going through this situation with their son, it's unfortunate.
Now, we are hearing some, like Alex was talking, upset comments. We know that this trial, no cameras were allowed. It was not live streamed. It was not televised. But as someone who was in the courtroom every afternoon to hear testimony, I know that the journalist I sat next to, we were doing our best to share accurately what we were hearing and what we were seeing inside that courtroom. And the jurors were tasked to take all of the evidence that they heard in that testimony to come to this guilty murder verdict. Now, I'm not sure what people are waiting for out here. Obviously, we know that the punishment phase of the trial is going on right now. I'm not sure if they're waiting to see if any of the family members are going to talk or if any of the attorneys are going to talk. I haven't really had a chance to ask, why they are staying here. All I know is that they are, and we've just seen more people arrive to the parking lot. For now, Eden, that's what I'm seeing live out here. Back to you.
And again, we should note that Karmelo Anthony faces anywhere from 5 years to 99 years in prison. As Amelia mentioned, no cameras allowed in the courtroom. So we've had crews all over. We've had our Lori Brown inside of the courtroom. We've had Amelia Jones outside of the courthouse and Alex Boyer. So really, they have tried their best to share what both sides are arguing, what the defense is claiming, what the prosecution is claiming, and trying to paint the picture of what all is going on there. So as this case prepares for the punishment phase, Fox 4 is, of course, committed to keeping you up to date. We're going to be live on the Fox Local app when there is an update, so make sure that you turn on your notifications to receive the update right to your home screen.